You are watching a Feldenkrais awareness through movement lesson in high speed. The title of the lesson is Close sit bones and lift the midfoot. By the way, if you'd like to do the lesson right now, or watch the gist, click the white circled eye icon at the upper right corner. Otherwise, let's watch the lesson. Be sure to take your shoes off. By the way, do you know that most Japanese don't wear shoes at home? Stand on the feet please. And walk around and feel whatever you feel. Come back to the place. Move the feet around on the floor and leave them to your usual distance. Not too far away. Not attached together. Pay attention to the way your right foot stands. The foot has inside and outside, right? Or they may be called as instep and outstep. To have springy foot, we need to keep the central area or midfoot slightly away from the floor, lifted. Though the skin may touch the floor, the bones there need to be slightly lifted from the floor. Do you feel which side of the foot is lifted higher from the floor as you stand as usual? Instep or outstep? Now, lift the foot only slightly from the floor and put it down a few times. Actually, do it this way. Leave the heel and the toes on the floor and lift only the right midfoot. If you lift midfoot, the two bone in the lower leg lift too. Put it this way. Push the heel and the toes onto the floor to lift the midfoot. Let us consider the structure of foot as a bridge. A bridge is supported at least by two pillars at two ends. If mid-area of bridge came down closer to the river, it would be a nightmare. A foot is supported by two toes and the heel at two ends as well. Push the heel and the toes simultaneously onto the floor to lift the midfoot. Do this many times. Which side lifts the first? The instep, or the outstep? This movement may help you answer the question of the lifted step. Leave it and do the same with the other foot. The left foot. Lift the midfoot slightly from the floor and put it down. Lift so slight that you feel the bones are lifted, yet the skin is still on the floor. Only sub-millimeters. Push the heel and the toes simultaneously onto the floor to lift the midfoot. Which side lifts the first? Instep, or outstep? Leave it alone and walk around. Come back to the place please. Stand as before and adjust the distance between the feet. Now, bend forward at hip joints and bring it back to the straight forward a few times. Bend a little bit and return to the horizontal position. Bend and return many times slowly. Try not to bend the upper body. Try not to bend the neck. Try not to bend the lumbar area. Only hip joints bend. Try to keep the body straight but without power. How does the pelvis move? How about the lower area of the pelvis? Do you feel that area opens up? In other words, does the anus open slightly? Still in other words, do the sit bones go away from each other when you bend over? Leave it alone and walk around for a while. Come back to the place and stand as before please. Once again, bend over a few times as we did a minute ago. Do it many times. Pay attention to the insteps and the outsteps of the feet. Do you feel the distances between some area of the feet and the floor change as you bend over? Do insteps lift from the floor and outsteps go down to the floor as you bend over? Leave it alone and walk around. Come back to the place. Stand with feet as before please. Once again, bend over, bend forward at hip joints. Do it many times. So far we have found out what happens to the feet and to the pelvis when you bend forward at hip joints. The first one is that the left and the right hip bones go away from each other. The second one is that insteps of feet go away from the floor and outsteps go down closer to the floor. However, it is quite possible you may not notice all these byproduct movement. It is also possible that they are not occurring actually. That is okay. The importance is with learning how to notice what is happening. Leave it alone and walk around. Come back to the place. Stand with feet as before, please. Once again, bend over, bend forward at hip joints. Next time you bend over, stay there. Hold it there in the bent over position. Okay? Try to shorten the distance between sit bones a few times. Do this many times. If you find this difficult, try this one. Touch sit bone with fingers and feel how they move. If you still don't have a clear idea of the movement, try this one. Tighten the anus slowly and let it go slowly. Do this many times. Pay attention to the distance between sit bones. Make sure the distance changes slowly and gradually. By doing it slowly, you will learn the feeling of doing it. Pay attention to the feet. Do insteps come closer to the floor? Do outsteps go away from the floor? Leave it alone and walk around. Come back to the place and stand as before. Simply stand. Slowly bring the sit bones closer together and let them go slowly away. Do this a few times and gradually forget the anus. And just imagine the sit bones come closer and go away slowly. Imagine this slowly. By imagining alone, without intention to do it, you learn to use the big muscles less, and start using smaller, deeper muscles. Imagine insteps come closer to the floor and outsteps go away from the floor as the sit bones come closer to each other, in your imagination. Having these imaginations, start walking. This concludes the lesson. Thank you.